Hi, welcome to Geek Lunch Meet. I'm your host Chris. It's been a beautiful week here in the UK, lovely and sunny. Hope it's good where you are. We're going to get straight into this week's news, which, unless you've been living under a rock, you must have seen the internet and all the local news here in the UK. Is obviously Indiana Jones 5, as I said in the last episode, kicked off filming up at Bamber Castle this week. Loads of stuff, loads of spies, photos up there and things being reported, and Harrison Ford being spotted walking around in public, getting annoyed with people. I think at one point there's some photographs of him, being hassled while he's on his break. So we'll do a roundup of everything that's sort of happened this week on Indy 5. To begin with, we had a new cast member, Toby Jones, who you'll remember as Dr. Zola from the Marvel movies, working with the Red Skull and Hydra. He was film shooting with Harrison Ford. I wasn't aware that he was in the film yet. From the way they're sort of acting together, it looks like he's a friend of Jones, not one of the enemy. They were filming overnight at Bamber Castle. Lots of fire, lots of explosions. It's an adventure film after all. It's all the stuff we'd come to expect. Was a guy, a stuntman on a motorbike filmed, who had like a mask on to make himself look more like Harrison Ford, and like a young version of Harrison Ford. And also very telling was in the scenes with Toby Jones. Harrison Ford had white dots on his collar and his chest and also around this area, which obviously are tracking markers for CGI. I imagine for the de-aging process. Obviously strange, obviously as reported before, they were casting someone young, who we thought would then be CGI to look like Harrison Ford. This looks like they're actually de-aging Ford himself as well. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, obviously, when you've got an almost 80-year-old body walking around. But presumably they're obviously going to do something with that. We'll see with that one. It's interesting to see how that works out. There were some pictures. It looks like there was some French writing on. It looks like it may be taking place in occupied France. There was a train carrying a statue, which is interesting, which leads us into the rumours of titles that have gone around this week. There was several titles have been thrown up. A couple of them: Indiana Jones and the Kronos device, Indiana Jones and the Jewel of Kronos, Indiana Jones and the Treasure of Kronos. Now, the reason that's all interesting, Kronos was the Greek personification of time. He was always depicted like a sort of old man father time, with his wise man with a long beard, and there was a statue of what looked like Kronos in this on this Nazi train. Now, obviously, with the whole, Indy being young, is there a time travel element? Obviously, originally we were thinking it was a Fountain of Youth. Now it looks like possibly that's not the way it's going. Then, out of the blue, came some photos that someone had taken. It looked like some sort of presentation at Disney, which featured the title Indiana Jones and the Empire of Evil. That all looked legit, along with another photo of some artwork up on the wall there, featuring Mads Mikkelsen, very plainly Mads Mikkelsen, dressed up as a Nazi, and then some other devices that look like Nazi, could be time travel stuff, very futuristic looking, some almost like UFO type pictures, and what looked like wormholes amongst with some artwork of the castle and stuff like that. So that seemed quite legit. Now, someone went straight to the horse's mouth and tweeted James Mangold, the director, who for some reason my brain wants to call him Marigold all the time, so apologies if I ever call him that in the future, but James Mangold, and said, look, we've heard this is the title, Empire of Evil. He turned around and flat out blatantly said, no, that's not the case. Title will be revealed later. I mean, who knows? He's basically come out and said that's not the title. It did look quite authentic, but we'll see in future. All of these sort of titles had been registered, copyright reasons and things like that. That does happen a lot on films. They usually register numerous different titles. So just because any of these are doesn't mean they're going to be any of them. But yeah, interesting to see. So yeah, that's now. I think it looks like the castle filming is done with. I think everything was packed up and left. They had Nazi say motorbikes, cars, tanks, artillery, all sorts of things going on up there. Then I think they were filming. I think Harrison Ford and Toby Jones were at the Scottish borders. That's now all been done with. I think it looks like they've headed down to Pinewood, so we might not get any more leaks like that for a while. It looks like it's probably all going into the studio now. So that might be the last we'll see of that. It's a shame. I thought maybe they would have revealed a title or even some official set pics, because yesterday, as I'm filming this, was the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark being released at the cinema, but they didn't really do anything like that, which was a shame. But I said, yeah, obviously we'll keep an eye on developments on Indy 5 as it goes along. Now, also this week was Netflix sort of Geek Fest thing they did. So they released a lot of information about up-and-coming geek projects. First of all, kicking off, Locke and Key Season 2, they announced for October with some screenshots. Locke and Key, based on the comic books written by Joe Hill, who is Stephen King's son, about a family and this big old rambling house they live in, and how there are keys, magic keys that do various different things. I thought the first season was okay. I was hoping it was going to be another Umbrella Academy, another Stranger Things. It's not on that level. Some of the effects work was a bit cheap. It's quite a lot of stuff set in the high school. It was almost just like a sort of typical teen high school drama, but it was pretty good going. So yeah, season 2 of that is coming out in October. They also then released the titles of all the episodes of Umbrella Academy season 3 that's currently filming. So I've got them here. They are Meet the Family, World's Biggest Ball of Twine, Pocket Full of Lightning, Kugel Blitz, Kindest Cut, Marigold, James Mangold again, Auf Wiedersehen, Wedding at the End of the World, Six Bells, and Oblivion. Obviously, no idea what any of those mean, except interesting, obviously Oblivion being the last one. Hotel Oblivion is one of the storylines from the comic books involving, I think, if I try to remember, I think it's like a hotel that's in another dimension that's full of villains. Well, I think it's a lot of the villains that the family have defeated in the past that are all held there. And also that's funny. That's a storyline where we're introduced to the sort of the Sparrows as well, which obviously was came in at the end of season 2. So yeah, that'd be interesting to see what happens with that. We then also got the trailer for the new Masters of the Universe cartoon. I will drop a link in the description below. Masters of the Universe Revelation. It's hitting Netflix July 23rd. Coming from Kevin Smith, obviously the famous director. It is a straight sequel to the original cartoon, I believe. They've updated the animation style. It looks quite 90s, actually. It looks slightly cheesy, but not as cheesy as the song. They say check out the trailer. The song is completely sort of inappropriate, ruins it for me a bit. Hopefully there won't be anything like that in the cartoon, but it does look good. Yeah, just like an updating of the cartoon that we watched as kids. So there is that. And then also I'll drop a link to, there's a behind the scenes bit of footage on Sandman, Neil Gaiman's comics that Netflix are also adapting. I must admit, I'll hold up my hands. I've only actually read volume 1. I keep meaning to get around to all the others, but I just haven't. But everyone says Sandman is great. From what I've read, it's great. Neil Gaiman's always good. I've read just about everything else he's done. I need to catch up with these. But yeah, there's say check out the footage. I'll put the description below. It's worth it just to see him walk onto one of the sets and just go, holy shit! Yeah, can't believe what they've done. So I suspect that we probably won't get that till next year, as it's only in production now. Other news, Lord of the Rings, War of the Hiram is going to be an animated movie set 250 years before Lord of the Rings, to do with Rohan and the King and Helm's Deep and all the shenanigans that were going on back then. Yeah, and they're hoping to get a theatrical release for it as well, I believe. This is obviously separate from the live-action Lord of the Rings TV show that Amazon is working on as well, which appears to have some production problems. Been going on behind the scenes, I think, there. So it'll be interesting to see what that's like when it finally comes out. Also this week, news, Andor. Apparently Forrest Whitaker is been seen on the set as Saw Gerrera, as he turned up in Rogue One, and I think he's in the Clone Wars cartoon, and he's in Rebels as well, and various other Star Wars bits and bobs. Yeah, he looks like he's definitely coming back. Obviously, this is a prequel to Rogue One. So he's still knocking about as one of the rebellions, sort of more extreme members, which will be good. Always good to see Forrest Whitaker. Luca is hitting Disney Plus next Friday, June the 8th. And that's Pixar's new movie, set on the Italian Riviera, about a boy that I think is a boy that befriends some sort of sea monster, which has disguised itself as a human. Yeah, that's just dropped there. I think due to the pandemic, they've dropped the theatrical release from that. I'm saying it's not even going to their Premier Access, where you have to pay the additional 20 quid to watch it. That's literally just dropping on Disney Plus next Friday, so worth looking out for. This week, obviously, was the first episode of Loki, which I really enjoyed. It's a really good, it's got a really good setup. It's got a lot to do. Obviously, the whole time variance authority is new to the MCU, so it has to sort of explain what it does in policing the timelines and things like that. But I thought it was very funny, good solid start to the show. So yeah, look forward to say next episode. Obviously, second episode will be up on Wednesday. Yes, I think that's it for this week. Thanks everyone who watched last week's episode, which is currently over 200 views, which is the most views of any of the videos on the channel, which may not sound a lot, obviously compared to some YouTubers, but yeah, for us here, it's great. I personally never expected. I didn't know when I started the channel a few months ago what sort of viewership we would get, but it is steadily building. So thank you very much everyone who's watched. It'd be great if we can get our subscriber base up as well, which will just help the channel out and get it to more people. So if you do like what you see, if you could hit the subscribe button, that would be fantastic. I think that is everything. Oh, actually, also of Stranger Things 3, actually announced some new cast I forgot to mention. Yeah, we've got who we've got? We've got Amy Beth McNulty is playing someone called Vicky, who is a band nerd who catches the eye of one of our beloved heroes. Miles Truitt is playing someone called Patrick, who's on the Hawkins basketball team. Regina Ting Chen is Ms. Kelly, is one of the guidance counsellors at Hawkins School, and Grace Van Dien, who's playing Chrissy, who is the head cheerleader at Hawkins, the most popular girl in school, but beneath the seemingly perfect surface lies a dark secret, says the press release. So yeah, 4 new characters, and it will be coming along in Stranger Things. Let's say season 3, is it season 4 now, isn't it? I think. Yeah. Still up for sort of debate when that's actually coming out. I'd love it to be this year, but I don't know if that's going to be the case. I suspect it might be early next year, but we will see on that one. So yeah, that is everything now from me. So yeah, have a good week, take care, and until next time, eat, geek, and be merry.